Yo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy P Lot, aka the Brick Slinger, and guess what? Your boy got something to say. I want to send a good salute to Lapeef Network. Um, some of you probably know that they had their network, their channel, basically terminated, and now they had to practically start over to a degree. But this past Sunday, they were speaking on the topic of open marriage, dealing with Stefan and Ayesha Carey. Um, I had the moment and took time to be a part of the. I wouldn't say I was part of the panelists, but I did had a moment of speaking my piece on the subject. Um, I will 100% admit that it wasn't my best presentation on the situation, due to the fact that not only was it a small moment, but it was like I want to say I was a little nervous to a degree, because even though I believe they understood what I was talking about, I strongly feel as if I could have did more. So this is practically me doing more. So here's my thing. Um, Open marriage has never been uh, a recommendation, or it's never been recommended in any shape or form, no matter what people try to tell you. It may look good, it may even seem good. Heck, it may even look or even seem more pleasant than just being in a monogamous marriage. Well, if it's with just one man and one woman. However, open marriage as well as polygamy has never in now, it is not just my opinion, but it's also fact that this is not recommendable. In fact, it's not even a successful recommendation. For crying out loud, the success rate of an open marriage is 7%. 7%. That's not even close to a double digit. So why all of a sudden people want to make a big deal out of open marriage, especially in a time like this? Because we want to see celebrities that are married to some degree either continue to make their marriage spicy in a degree, or we want to see some failure out of the marriage. I don't know. But I do know one thing. Many people will try to use the Bible as a form of it's okay to do it because ... Don't believe me? Okay, cool. Genesis. You go and you see Abraham. Abraham and his wife, Sarah. They had a quote unquote open marriage with Hagar. Although God promised Abraham that he would have his promised child with Sarah. Sarah was, even though was barren, she didn't even see that happening. So she brought one of her maid servants, Hagar. Hagar comes into the picture, and then after that, here comes Ishmael. Yes, Ishmael was Abraham's first son. Biologically, he wasn't the promised child, because he was supposed to be the promised child. His firstborn was supposed to be the promised child through Sarah. And you see what happened after that. Continue to read the story in the book of Genesis. Want another example? Okay, here we go. David. David not only had a open marriage. Matter of fact, before we even go to David, let's go to Abraham's grandson. Jacob. Jacob had his stuff was even more ridiculous. Not only was his stuff was more of an open marriage, he had Leah, her sister Rachel. I don't even want to disrespect that. Let's put it to you like this: you had one wife, you had her sister, then you had a couple of concubines, and then what we get out of that? The 12 sons of Jacob, which leads to the 12 tribes of Israel. I could be messing up the name. Rachel. That's it right there. And up for debate. You can say that's not an open marriage, whatever the case may be. Cool. But, that's definitely not I admit, that's probably a good reach. I wouldn't even say a good reach. That was probably not a good example. But let's take open marriage by its definition. It's when a man and a woman come to some crazy agreement to bring another person into the bed of marriage. But yet, again, there's nothing in the Bible that recommends it. Even if you do bring Abraham into it, even if you do bring Jacob into it, bring David, who had wives and concubines, who knows what, and then Solomon doubled what David did. One thing the Bible has always made clear, that open marriage and even polygamy ain't never been good in God's eyes. Never. Many people will try to make it seem like it's a good thing, but that's the total opposite of what God wanted. Because if God wanted one man and one woman to be together from the beginning, and throughout the whole Bible, even the law made it clear that no man shall have more than one wife. And if he managed to get more than one wife, there's other details, this, that, and the third within the law. However, we get to the New Testament, straight down to the nitty gritty. Paul is like, yo, husband, do this with your wife. Your wives. Wives, do this with your husbands. Even in the New Testament, one man, one woman in holy matrimony has been highly recommendable. Highlighted all day. Like, even if you feel the total opposite of that, that's on you. That's on you. But open marriage ain't never been recommendable. In fact, I'll even take it like this. Like I said on the Lapeef network, open marriage leads to open consequences. Why? Because at the end of the day, you bringing a one person in doesn't mean you're not bringing another person's situation into your marriage, and vice versa. And it's kind of selfish, because you thinking to yourself, hey, I'm gonna spice up our marriage by bringing another person into this. It's kind of selfish to the point where you're trying to please yourself sexually, and then have the audacity to bring your spouse into this, and as well as another person into this. Because not only you opening the door for your spouse insecurity and other situation, you're bringing your insecurity in other situation. Now you're bringing another person's insecurity in other situation. Now you have created a 3-band soul tie, to the point where even when you get done with that other person, what makes you think you're done with that person? And then you got to keep this in mind. it's still adultery. It's still a sin, because now you thinking that this one person is going to satisfy both you and your spouse sexually, and then they can go on about their business. I've seen a movie called Three Way on Tubi, and in the movie, the couple brought another person into their bed of marriage, and that person continued to come into their life after they got done having some sexual pleasure. And that person played got down with both the husband and the wife. And yes, it was a woman. So what am I trying, what is it I'm trying to display? I'm trying to display how this has never been a good idea in God's plan. It's never been a good idea in God's eyes. And so if we continue, if anything, it don't matter if you're a celebrity, you're in the mainstream world, or you're in a regular individual working a 9 to 5, the idea of open marriage is dumb. And many people will probably disagree and probably debate me head down, by all means. But it still don't change the fact that anybody that do an open marriage never seem to be satisfied. There's not a successful satisfaction in this. Just like it's not a successful satisfaction in polygamy, in adultery, in the cheating, into lying, and anything else that can play a part in this situation. Any sin that could play a part in this situation. What can you do after it's done one time? You probably want to do more. And then what? So the best solution when it comes to marriage is to keep number one, keep people out of your marriage. If you're trying to, if anything, if there's somebody that should be in the marriage, that should be there and more beneficial than another person, it should be God. It should be God in the midst of the man and a woman bed of marriage. It should be God in the midst of that quote unquote three-way. Because another person is not going to satisfy the marriage. Only thing you're going to do is it's going to continue the fire to burn of lust. It continue that fire of lust to burn. It won't quench that itch. It won't do none of that stuff. So if anything, your boy the Brickslinger does not recommend it, and the Bible doesn't recommend it, and the world can do whatever they want to do and try to make it seem like otherwise. But if you're a follower of Christ, if you claim to be a follower of the Lord, if you claim to be a child of God, do not, I repeat, do not even think about doing open marriage. Do not even think about doing polygamy. Don't even think about doing the threesome. Because only thing you're going to be doing is trying to satisfy what can't be satisfied. And if you trust in the Lord and lean not to your own understanding, then that will be the last thing you think about. But that's just me. Like button, dislike button. There's a comment board. Please, if you agree, let it be known. If you disagree, let it be known. But do not be disrespectful. Subscribe. Share this video. Continue this conversation, please. Who knows? We might mess around and do a live. But until then, it's your boy P-Lot, aka the Brickslinger. And as always, continue to sharpen one another. Support the kingdom. Take care and God bless. laborers, Happy New Year.